it's Tanya. Welcome back to my channel. So this is a fun video that I have actually been wanting to make for a while now. There are videos out on YouTube. I found them helpful. I hope other people will find this one helpful on trail talk or hiker lingo, because it can be a completely different language. Even though I was in the hiking community, I still didn't know some of the thru-hiking terms. So I'm watching YouTube videos and someone says they're gonna go slack pack and I'm like, what's slack packing? And I'm Googling. Or someone talks about like a lasher and I'm like, lash, what do they mean? Like eyelashes? Like what are they talking about? So I decided I'm going to make this a little more fun. I'm not just gonna like throw a bunch of terms at you, but hopefully if you are not in the hiking community, or even if you are in the hiking community, you will have a little bit of fun with this video. So we're gonna do it kind of pop quiz style. So I have 25 terms. Actually I have more than that, but I put some of the terms together in pairs because they just go together. But I have 25 terms. So keep track of how many of these you get right. And then at the end, I'll tell you, if you got 0 to 5 wrong or whatever, like, what you should be doing based on your knowledge of trail talk or, learn the lingo of hiker terminology. All right, so first, question number 1. What does it mean when someone says they are a no-bow or a so-bow hiker? Hint, it has nothing to do with being a hobo, which is what one of the people answered when I asked this before. All right, have your answer? The answer is no-bow means they are going northbound on a thru hike, where so-bow means the opposite. They are going southbound on a thru hike. So I am going to be a no-bow hiker going from Georgia to Maine on the Appalachian Trail. This is true of any trail that goes north to south. You can be a no-bow or a so-bow hiker. All right, question number 2. Along the same lines, what is a flip-flop? And no, it's not the type of shoe that you wear on the beach in Florida. Although it is, but not when hikers are talking about it. In that instance, actually, they might be a camp shoe. All right, got your answer? Question number 2's answer is a flip-flop is when someone flip-flops their thru hike. So using the AT, for example, a lot of people will start in the middle around Harper's Ferry is a popular area, and then go one direction north and then go the other direction south, or vice versa. So they're flip-flopping their journey. Usually this means that they can take advantage of the best weather, take advantage of the best shuttling services and avoiding the bubble or being a part of the bubble, or like whatever your situation is. So actually, that brings us to my next question. What is a bubble in hiker terminology? A bubble, not things that are made from soap that kids play with. What's a bubble? All right, a bubble is a group of thru hikers that are all starting around the same time, and then they kind of travel together northbound or southbound, norbo or sobo, but the bubble in AT terminology is typically referring to those who are going northbound, starting in Georgia in March and April, and then working their way towards Maine together in a bubble of hikers that have all started about the same time. What is a tramily? Tramily. All right. Well, you probably guessed this one because we're in a world where people like to slam words together and make a new word. A tramily is your trail family. This is when people are hiking together, don't know each other usually before they get on the trail. Maybe they've met online and decide to hike together. That's happening with me right now. I'm in the early stages of putting together a hopeful tramily, but usually you're just hiking along. You're going at the same pace as someone. You see them at camp in the morning. You see them at camp in the evening. You may decide to take, a day off together and get a hostel or share a hotel room. And, 500, 1,000 miles later, you've hiked together and now you're trail family. It's your tramily. Okay. I have had fun doing this. So if you've been watching my videos, you know the answer to this one. What does it mean if I am going to be a trail angel and provide some trail magic? 2 terms, but they go together. Trail angel and trail magic. Got your answer? Okay, so a trail angel is someone who helps thru hikers out with their needs. It could be something as simple as just picking them up and taking them back to the trail from their hotel or hostel that morning, providing a shuttle service. Could be something larger, helping them with a shakedown, taking them to outfitters to get new gear, taking them into town to resupply their food, maybe opening up their RV or their home for a couple hikers, or even a group of hikers to come stay with them for a night or two, take a shower, make them meals. A really common thing that trail angels do is set up along the trail and cook food or bring food, water, Gatorade, beer and soda, all kinds of things that, to help the thru hikers. Our food is our fuel, and so it's always awesome when someone is willing to give you some. So that is trail magic, is the service that is being provided. The trail angel is the person providing the service. All right, next question. I think I'm on number 6. Yogi-ing. This one's a fun one. What does it mean to yogi something? And I have also learned that this shows your age, because I used this phrase doing trail magic, and this 19-year-old girl had no idea what I was talking about. So yogi-ing is from the old cartoon Yogi Bear, and she was like, who's Yogi Bear? And she had never watched or heard of Yogi Bear. And she's like, isn't that the fire guy? I'm like, no, that's Smokey the Bear. So Yogi Bear used to go pilfer and, beg for snacks from campers. So that's what it means to be yogi-ing. You're begging for food, or pilfering. Hopefully you're not actually stealing, but you're begging for food from other hikers that are out there. Maybe you didn't pack enough, you don't like what you have, you want someone else's, whatever. But yeah, that's yogi-ing. Okay, here's the one I mentioned earlier. I had to look this up because I'm like, what the heck are they talking about? Slack packing. What does that one mean? And that's number 7, I think we're on. Yeah, slack packing. So that is when someone offers to watch your gear for you, or another way to look at it is someone will actually even carry your gear for you to the next location. But usually in through hiking, this is a service that's offered by some shuttle drivers and a lot of hostels. Is if you're staying with them at their hostel, part of the service they may provide, or for a small additional fee, you can leave all of your gear behind and then have a big mileage day and knock out maybe even a really difficult section of the trail without 30 pounds of gear on your back. It's slack packing. So they'll drop you off at one point and then you hike to another point. They'll either pick you up, or it's close to where the hostel is and you can walk back to the hostel. I am totally going to do slack packing, just putting it out there. Some people see it as cheating. I don't. I'm like, my intention is to walk the entire Appalachian Trail. It does not mean there has to be 30 pounds on my back the entire time. So that's slack packing. All right, here's a whole group of fun ones. I'm backing up. The AT has white blazes on the tree. So the terminology has come that if you are hiking the AT, through hiking the AT, that you are white blazing. So out of fun, there's been some other blank blazing come along. So what does it mean if you are blue blazing? Okay, blue blazing means that you are taking side trails around the AT. Now, this doesn't always mean that you're actually avoiding the AT itself, that maybe there's an easier side trail around a harder section, and you're avoiding, the hard sections by taking the blue blazes. Blue blazes are also side trails to lookouts, waterfalls, your water source. So you are going to be blue blazing at some point if you're on the Appalachian Trail, because you want to go to that beautiful, amazing vista and see the view, or you want to go to that waterfall, or you have to get water and it's on a blue blaze trail. But blue blazing, I think originally actually came from people going around the AT and taking some blue blazes instead. So you may think that the opposite of blue blazing is pink blazing somehow, because I've had that come up when I've talked to people about pink and blue blazing, but pink blazing is something totally different. What is pink blazing? This is a fun one. That is when, it can go either direction, but typically it is when a guy slows his roll and adjusts his pace to pick up chicks. There are trail romances that happen on the trail. guy likes a girl, girl likes a guy. He's been pink blazing. He's, you know, following the pink. So that's where that term came from. There is a term I've heard, I don't know if it's really like official or out there, that's the opposite of that. And I'm just gonna throw it out there and say, I don't know, you guys run with it or not, but I've heard it being called banana blazing, going the other direction. Okay, enough of that. Next type of blazing is yellow blazing. What does it mean if I tell you I'm gonna yellow blaze, which I'm not gonna do, by the way? Some people actually end up doing this unintentionally. It can happen, but yellow blazing is when you skip a portion of the trail by going in a car alongside the trail. And what I mean this can happen unintentionally is like you get off in a town and a shuttle takes you into town to get your resupply, and then the next shuttle takes you back to like a different road crossing, and now there's a gap, and it may only be a couple of miles or whatever. It's like, okay, crap, I didn't get back on the trail at the same road crossing I meant to. So if you don't go back and fill that gap, you've yellow blazed. Or next question, this one's debatable a lot, I see online, aqua blazing. Yeah, I know some of you out there were like, yeah, we know exactly where she's going with this one, is aqua blazing. In particular, there is a section in Shenandoah where there is a river that runs parallel, I think it's the Shenandoah River, that runs parallel to the AT for like 50 miles, I think. And there is a company that will let you, I mean, it runs, like the trail runs like right, like literally parallel for those miles. And there is a company that will let you rent canoes and paddle that section of the trail and aqua blaze. So you're not hiking that section, you're paddling that section. Again, controversy over whether that's legit or not. I'm likely not going to do it, but I can see the benefit to it if at that point you like need to recover from a minor injury and, you know, taking a few days off of your feet but still covering those miles. I don't know, maybe I'm a bit more purist in that sense that I still don't think it's walking the AT, but I do see where people are like, yeah, I'm gonna aqua blaze, but that's aqua blazing. I'm not gonna do it, but that's what aqua blazing is. Okay. This one's fun. Green blazing. Green blazing, what is that? And I think I'm on number, I don't know, I've lost track. 12, I think. Green blazing. I'm definitely not doing this one because I've never done it in my life, but that's, we'll say there's people who are using it for medical purposes. They are smoking marijuana the entire way. That's green blazing. Next, platinum blazing. This is a newer one. I think this was just developed in the last year, couple of years, because I know a lot of thru-hikers who hiked, I think prior to like, you know, 2019, 2020, 2021, haven't heard this term. Platinum blazing. That is when you are spending a lot of money, like a platinum card, on trail. You're taking every opportunity to go into town, and you're staying at hotels instead of hostels. You're going out to nice dinners while you're in town. You're doing all the fun side things, whitewater rafting and going into New York City and spending a lot of money while you're on trail. Hike your own hike, right? I mean, I'm probably going to be somewhere in the middle of that. I want to enjoy the experience and enjoy the areas where I'm going, and maybe I want to go ziplining or whitewater rafting or go into New York City. I don't know. We'll see when I get there. I don't want to go like way over my budget in doing so, but I also, like I said, want to enjoy the experience. Okay, and here's my last blank blazing. Silk blazing. Silk blazing. What might that be? This one is one that I hope I'm not doing because it freaks me out. That is when you're the first one on the trail in the morning and you are breaking through all of the spider webs that have been woven. Is that the right word? Weaving? Wove? Whatever. Overnight by the spiders. You're breaking through all the silk. So someone else, you can happily be my silk blazer because I hate spiders, and getting caught in spider webs make me go. Okay, done with the blank blazing. Moving on. What would you think it means if I say I am taking a zero or a nero? I put these two together. Zero and nero. So you've probably actually heard me talk about this already in some of my past videos, but taking a zero is basically taking a rest day, and they're necessary. So that's when you go into town, you resupply, you stay at a hotel or a hostel, and then you take the full day off, you do 0 miles that entire like next day. Do your laundry, clean, repack, get your food, and just rest. Gotta happen. Or this may be a day that you are taking a 0 to go do one of those fun platinum blazing things that we talked about. A nero is similar in that you've only gone a couple of miles that morning from your last campsite. You know, maybe you went 3, 4, 5 miles instead of, you know, you're at a point where you're doing 15, 20 miles. It basically feels like you've done nothing because you only hiked for a couple hours that morning, and then you can take the whole rest of the day off, stay the night somewhere, and then get back on the trail the first thing the next morning. So you've still taken a 0 in a way, but you did actually get some miles in, so we call it a nero. Okay, and next, I think we're on 16 already. You should know this from my past videos if you've been watching. What is a shakedown? I've been doing shakedown hikes, but you can also do a shakedown without hiking, but it's the same concept. Alright, so a shakedown is actually what I did with Honey Jar back in my Trail Magic video, and what I've been doing on my hikes is, so shakedown is when you're going through all of your gear and shaking it down, as in, what do I have in here that is unnecessary? What is weight that I'm lugging around that I don't need to be carrying? What can I get rid of? And that's also a shakedown hike, is when you're testing your gear and making sure that it actually works for you. So as you've seen in my shakedown, I have another video on here that's the shakedown breakdown. I went through, I got rid of items, and I've also switched out items. I've changed my water filtration system. I've changed my sleeping system. I decided to have my summer clothes sent to me. That was a big change. I've done a lot of changes. So shakedowns are really important. Get rid of the excess. I'm still probably going to be doing more shakedown as I get on the trail. Everyone does. So yeah, that's shakedown. Okay, I'm gonna try to go through this a little bit faster here. Sorry. Number 17, thru-hike. I probably should put this first. What is the actual definition of a thru-hike? Got it? Okay, so I don't know if anyone's actually like pausing this and writing it down or like quizzing with anyone, but you know, if you want to do that, you could be doing that. So thru-hike is, the actual definition of a thru-hike is completing every mile of a long distance trail within 1 calendar year, or I guess technically within like a 12-month time frame. Typically you look at it as doing it in a calendar year. I did it in 2020 and 2021. In relation to that, what would it mean if you're doing a section hike or you're a section hiker? Exactly what it sounds like. You are doing a long distance trail in sections. And it may take you years, it may take you decades to do the entire AT or PCT or CDT or whatever long distance trail in sections. But from Maine to Georgia, vice versa, whatever, you have now walked every mile of the AT, and you're a section hiker who has, you know, completed the AT. Along with that, next question is, here's my, what's a lash? It's not the thing on your eye. I mean, it is, but not in hiker terminology. What is a lash? Well, a lash is an acronym. If you're a lasher, I'm gonna have to beep this, but it's a long section hike. So what that is, a really long section hike. Usually I would think, I don't know if there's like an actual number that's the definition that makes it a lash, but like several hundred miles, 1,000 miles, like that's a lash. Like if you do the AT in like 2 or 3 sections as a lash, like that's okay, almost done. Number 20, base weight. You hear that thrown around all the time. You see that in comments on Facebook. You see that in the comments on my YouTube videos. What's your base weight? What's your base weight? Okay, so your base weight is what your pack with all of your gear in it weighs before you put anything that's consumable into it as well. So fuel is consumable, food and water. Some people include medicine that you may have to keep replenishing in that, but the main ones are fuel, food, and water. Oh, these are fun. Okay, next. What does it mean if I'm gonna go to a stealth campsite? Or actually, I'm gonna put this together, 21 and 22 together is a stealth campsite, or I'm gonna go cowboy camping. Because I know these two phrases or these two words come up a lot, and everyone's like, well, I thought you like stayed in a shelter or you stayed in your tent at a campsite. Well, yeah, basically, but you can also do these two things. So a stealth campsite is a campsite, but it's not a like designated AT campsite. So there are like numbered campsites at you pull off the trail, a little blue blaze goes to a campsite area. There could be 4, there could be 30 campsites with a water source, a privy. Like, this is an actual campsite. But you're walking along and you see a nice flat area that people have obviously camped at before because there's fire rings. So that's a stealth campsite. It's not like listed as an official AT campsite, but it's clearly a campsite. Now, other people will go to even like a more extreme and say that a stealth campsite, and I think this was actually more of the original definition of it, is that a stealth campsite is like kind of hidden off of the trail, but not too far off of the trail. And yeah, maybe there's like an established fire ring or whatever, but like you're being stealth. You're camping maybe where you're not even supposed to be camping, but don't do that. Don't camp where you're not supposed to camp. But that may be like where it originally came from, is like the campgrounds are full. I don't want to be around all these noisy people. I'm gonna go be stealth over here and set up my campsite over yonder. And now some of those stealth campsites have become just as popular or well known as like the official designated campsites. Okay, and then the other part of that was cowboy camping. Beautiful view, beautiful evening, and I'm just gonna pull my sleeping bag out and sleep right here under the stars. No tent, no shelter, no hammock, no nothing. Cowboy camping, just me and my gear. Okay, almost done. What is a bounce box versus a resupply box? They're similar, but they are slightly different. Okay, so you've heard me talk about, if you've been following me, resupply boxes. I'm working on getting some resupply boxes together for me. I have some friends with like my summer gear and some other supplies that are going to send me a resupply box at some point on the trail when I tell them to send it to me. That's when you send yourself, or you have your friends send you supplies that you need. Switching out gear, maybe new food, whatever the case may be. Bounce box is similar in that it is supplies that you've sent to yourself or that you've had with you, and now maybe you're switching out your summer gear, but you think you're going to need your winter gear when you get further north again. So you're going to bounce that gear forward, bounce that box forward, and you're going to send it to somewhere in Vermont or New Hampshire. And then when you get there, maybe you don't need it yet, you bounce it forward again. Or you have a friend bounce it forward for you. So that's the difference between a bounce box and a resupply box. A bounce box is a resupply box, but it's being bounced along the trail. Alright, what's it mean? I've done this, I've said this in my videos, so if you know what it means. What's it mean to camel up? Gotta camel up. Kind of two ways that you can look at it. One is, I don't want to do this because I don't want to have to like go to the bathroom the whole time on the trail, but one way to camel up is to just drink a lot of water. Cameling up means consuming a lot of water or carrying a lot of water. Some people will camel up by drinking a ton of water when they know that they're going out on a trail where, a portion of the trail where there's not a lot of good water options to be able to continually filter and have water along the whole trail. So you're not dehydrated, you've got the water in you. To me, I'm like, okay, now I have to go pee every 5 minutes. I don't know. So I have cameled up on some of my videos where the campsite that I was going to did not have a water source, but a campsite that I was passing before I got to the campsite I wanted to go to did. So I would go off trail, or I would stop at the waterfall and camel up and get my 2 to 3 liters of water that I knew I was going to need for dinner, washing up, breakfast, and have some water to start with the next day before I could resupply my water again by filtering out on the trail. So that's, to me, more of how I would be cameling up versus just drinking a whole bunch of water. But that's what it means. And last question. If I tell you I'm getting sucked into the vortex, what is happening to me? And I've seen this happen in people's videos a lot, and I fear it may happen to me at some point as well. The vortex is when you get sucked back into like real life, or like the fun of, you know, the trail towns while you're taking a zero, and or a trail angel has invited you to their home, and like, oh, the hot shower and the home cooking. I was like, you don't want to go back to trail life. You're like, you want to keep having fun in this town or fun with your friends, or this trail angel's like spoiling you, so you kind of get sucked into the vortex, and before you know it, it's been like 3 or 4 days and you've gone like nowhere. You've taken a bunch of zeros, or you know, took a nero to get in, and now it's like 3 days later and it's like, oh yeah, I was gonna leave yesterday. So that's getting sucked into the vortex. All right, so I hope you had some fun with that. If you did keep score with your partner or with yourself, here's Tanya's rating system. If you got 0 to going up to 5, 0 to 5 wrong, why are you sitting here? You're an expert. Go out, and you should be through hiking. Get out there and have some fun. If you got 6 to 10 wrong, you're pretty darn knowledgeable. I'm gonna bet that's probably where I would have been on this. I didn't know a lot of the blazing. So know your blazing differences, catch up on anything else you didn't know, and get out there. All right, if you got 11 to 15 wrong, you might want to watch some more YouTube videos, rewatch this one, learn your lingo, and then get out there. And guess what? If you got 16 to 20 wrong, like that would be all of them, or almost all of them. Oh, I did 25, didn't I? Shoot, I forgot to do my last bracket. Well, this shows you how good Tanya is at math. We'll say if you did 16 to 25 wrong. We all gotta start somewhere. But that's okay, because taking your first step means that eventually you're going to take that last step at Katahdin, or whatever trail you're through hiking. So learn your lingo, get started, and get out there. All right, hope you had fun with this, and I will see you all on the trail real soon.